Planes, the most disappointing franchise in all of animation. Now, when hearing that last sentence, you might agree with me. You might also say, well, it was really bad, but I don't think it's the most disappointing. You could also be thinking, wait a minute, there was a movie called Planes? And I'm here to say, yes, there is. And despite what you may think, it's not a mockbuster made by some obscure company that will be happily forgotten, but actually a 90-minute movie made by Disney Toon Studio, who may not have made all your favourite movies, but made some good ones like Cinderella 3 and Kronk's New Groove. This was also their last two movies ever made, and it's sad that the company, which has made some genuinely good movies, didn't go out on a high note, but a plane wreck. Hi, my name is Animation Review, and today we are going to be reviewing why Planes is the most disappointing franchise in the history of animation. This is more of a review than an argument for my point, because I don't think this is a very controversial statement. As even the Rotten Tomatoes score is an abysmal 25%, 10% lower than Shark Tale. Well, it seems like a good idea to talk about the animation when talking about the most disappointing franchise in the history of it. The first Planes movie has the worst animation of anything that Disney has ever made. Well, almost. It's like if someone said, okay, let's stay on the cheap side and put an animation budget of $30 on each of the characters' eyes. But then somebody says, no way, that's just miles too expensive. Let's just get 3 skins from Roblox for about $15, and then what we do is we just randomly put them on different characters and move them about from time to time. I'm serious when I say that this movie is cheaper than most Illumination movies. They spent about 60 to 80 million on their movies, and people complain about that, when this movie only cost about 50 million to make. And I wouldn't usually complain about Disney being cheap, because they're usually good with low budget success. Most of the Disney Dark Age movies were great on a low budget, and people enjoyed them and did well at the box office. But that's because that was all they were meant to do. They threw enough money at them so you could get some cool voice actors, nice songs and adequate action. Sure, Disney might have to spend a little more animation, but that's no big problem. Just cut out the sequel. People won't complain. Pun not intended. Pun maybe kind of intended. But this animation is something a little ugly. I didn't think that the cars in Cars looked all that appealing, but at least the eyes are far enough apart. And Planes are so close together that they feel like they're going to merge into one eye. The movie starts off with an opening screen that says World of Cars. This was also in all the advertising. It's basically saying, hey, you know how much you love Pixar? I know we can't technically call this a Pixar movie, but if you squint really hard, you might just not hate this movie. And after that sign, you're going to see the main character with this other guy who, is just irrelevant. It's just a long, boring, droning dialogue scene. It sets up the fact that he wants to be a racer, but oh no, he has a fear of heights. That's what we're trying to connect with. It's like if Lightning McQueen was just coming out of the truck and then realised he's scared of the road. It's a cliche, and it's such a stupid cliche because planes were built for heights. And from that point, 6 seconds into the bleeding movie, you can guess every single plot point. You can guess that he gets his wish of being a racer and makes some friends. And also makes enemies that I couldn't care less about. And are they going to win? Is he going to win? Am I going to stop watching this toy ad and work off of Wikipedia? Oh my god, it's so obvious. Every beat is there being able to guess while tossing in the boring side story. Planes has a few characters. Not infinite or a lot, but enough to make you think, well, they had a lot. Maybe they got one of them right. No. It's just full of things that feel like they've been ripped out of Cars. You've got your discount Lightning, your discount Mater, your discount Sally, and your discount Guido. On top of that, you've got your stereotypes. Your Indian stereotype, also stereotype love interest, stereotype jock, stereotypical Mexican, stereotypical Russian lady. It's just packed to the brim with stereotypes that serve no purpose to the story. You can see all the character in these characters from the first word of the trailer. None. These characters are just poorly copy-pasted from the Cars universe, character-wise and animation-wise, which is doubly impressive considering the fact that Cars is the worst movie Pixar has character-wise. I wish that this Mexican sidekick character would only speak Spanish, so I wouldn't understand anything that he's saying. He's annoying to the point that I would have preferred a Minion sidekick. I really mean that. Speaking of annoying characters, what about that irrelevant guy? Remember him from earlier? Yeah, he literally doesn't do anything. He's just running fart an innuendo joke that's not funny. I don't think I have any more to say about him. I'm going to go get some bleach. The plot follows Dusty, who has come to terms with the end of his racing days and wants to become a firefighter to help out his friend and anyone else. I feel that right off the bat it's a bit weird. I mean, Cars 3 had Lightning McQueen retiring after that, but Lightning McQueen has had 12 years since he started racing in Cars 1. And while I don't know about how the car's biology works, but in real life a car would be definitely past its prime. But this is less than a year after the first movie. And I know that franchise time, especially cash grab franchise time, is quicker than real time, but it's so weird. It's like Usain Bolt running the 100 metres, making a record and won Olympic gold, and then 16 days before a year went by decided to quit. I mean, I don't know many people that would be complaining about the wait for a sequel. Or should I say, I don't know many people who'd be complaining about the wait for a sequel. I'm sorry. Other than that, the editing is a bit better in this movie. And you'd think that they'd decide to improve the animation after that last Abomination, but no, they keep the same budget. And the pacing and writing is awful as ever, and there are as many stereotypes as ever. It's also the movie that made me bang my head against the table and say, Disney! 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 Leave the bloody spin-offs to DreamWorks. I think that the second one is probably better than the first one. Not by much, but its editing is slightly better, and that's what probably tips the first Planes movie to the top. What I would say is that it's the more unnecessary one. I don't think there would ever be a situation where you think, you know what I want to see? That car spin-off movie made by Disney itself about planes, enjoying that one so much that you watch the sequel. So, does it deserve to have a lower Rotten Tomatoes score than Shark Tale? Yeah. Planes will always be a movie that's beating you over the head with an Argos catalogue. Its animation is slightly better than Shark Tale, but not by much. It's got no sense of comedy compared to Shark Tale that maybe has one or two good lines. And what Shark Tale really has over Planes is that Shark Tale, at least, is interesting. It may not have good, compelling story that's well constructed, but at least the movie isn't boring you to death. And isn't that what really matters? I am Animation Review. That's why Planes is the most disappointing franchise in the history of animation. I hope you enjoyed it, and I bid you good night.